Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to jump right into the deep end and talk about the powerful and, often invisible ideas that shape literally everything around us, from our laws to what we see on our social media feeds. We're going to break down the absolute bedrock of political theory. See, at the heart of it all are two just enormous questions. What does it actually mean to be free, and what do we really, truly owe to one another as people? I mean, think about it. Almost every single political argument you've ever had or heard, it all boils down to how you answer these two things.
All right, so to get a real handle on all this, we need to understand the four pillars that are basically holding up the entire building of political debate. So let's meet them.
Okay, first up, freedom. Sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? The power to do what you want. But the real debate, the interesting part, kicks off with that question: where's the line? You know the old saying, my freedom to swing my fist has to end somewhere right before your nose begins. That's the puzzle.
Next, we've got equality. I mean, everybody agrees it's important, right? But what kind of equality are we actually talking about here? Equal chances to succeed? Equal results in the end? Equal treatment no matter what? The answer you pick, well, it changes everything.
And that leads us right into justice. So let me ask you this. Is a society just if it has perfectly fair rules, even if following those rules leads to some people having everything and others having nothing? Or does real justice demand that we also look at the final score and make sure the outcome itself is fair for everybody?
And finally, we have rights. Where do these things even come from? Are they handed to us by a government? Are we just born with them? And as the world keeps changing, what new things, like, say, privacy in the digital age, should be considered a basic, fundamental human right?
So here's the crucial point. These four pillars, freedom, equality, justice, and rights, they don't just stand there peacefully next to each other. Oh no. They are constantly in a tug of war, pushing and pulling against one another. And this is where the great debates really catch fire.
So let's just take freedom, for example. The philosopher Isaiah Berlin famously talked about two competing ideas. On one hand, you have negative liberty. Think of it like a shield that protects you from outside interference. But on the other hand, you have positive liberty, which, as thinkers like Amartya Sen argue, is more like a ladder that helps you to actually achieve your potential. It's not just about being left alone, it's about being enabled.
And you see this exact same kind of tension with equality. Do we put all our energy into making sure everyone starts the race from the exact same line? That's equality of opportunity. Or do we need to pay more attention to the finish line and make sure the results aren't just wildly unequal? That's equality of outcome. Two totally different goals.
And this brings us right back to that idea of justice. You've got thinkers like Robert Nozick who championed what's called procedural justice. Basically, as long as the rules of the game are fair and no one cheats, any outcome is, by definition, just. But then you have giants like John Rawls who argued for distributive justice, saying, hang on, a truly just society has to care about the final score too. We have to ask, is this final distribution of stuff actually fair?
Okay. So let's see how all this stuff actually builds out from the classroom and into the real world. Because this isn't just some abstract academic debate. These arguments have massive, real-world consequences for our laws and our entire society.
I mean, those arguments over equality, they directly shape policies like affirmative action. The debates we have about rights, they determine how we try to balance multiculturalism with a shared national identity. And in our totally interconnected world, these questions about state sovereignty versus global rules, man, they are more pressing than ever before. It's everywhere.
And this is a great way to see how our understanding of these ideas actually evolves over time. I mean, the very concept of rights has grown. It started with what we call first-generation rights, your basic civil and political stuff like free speech and the right to vote. Then came the second generation, socioeconomic rights, like the right to an education or healthcare. And now we're deep in debates about third-generation collective rights, like the right to a clean environment for everyone.
So, with all that said, why? Why does wrestling with these centuries-old arguments still matter so much today? I mean, really, what is the point of it all? Well, the point is empowerment. Seriously, understanding these core concepts gives you a framework, a kind of mental toolkit to critically analyze the news, to actually understand what politicians are arguing about, and to form your own informed opinions instead of just reacting. And you can draw a direct line from the past to right now. Isaiah Berlin's ideas on liberty, they're at the absolute center of today's fights over social media regulation. John Rawls' theories on justice, they directly inform pretty much every conversation we have about wealth inequality. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, that's the foundation we're using to ask if digital privacy is now a basic right for every person on the planet.
So, when you get right down to it, these aren't just dusty, abstract ideas from old books. They are active, ongoing arguments that are literally building the world around you, right at this very moment. So I guess the only real question left is, what role are you going to play in them?